is a mystery that surrounds a woman who is truly blessed, not because she makes noise about her blessings, not because she advertises her victories, but because there is a quiet strength that speaks even when her mouth is closed. Blessing in its truest form is not loud, it is not flashy, it is not desperate for attention. A blessed woman understands something many people never learn, that preservation is as important as possession. What God gives you must be protected, and one of the ways protection happens is through privacy. Not everything God does in your life is meant for public consumption. There are sacred things that lose their power when they are overexposed. And a wise woman, a truly blessed woman, knows what to keep before God and what to keep away from the ears of men. The first thing a blessed woman keeps private is the depth of her prayer life and her spiritual encounters. She understands that intimacy with God is not a performance. She does not pray to impress people, nor does she narrate every encounter she has in the place of prayer. When God speaks to her in the quiet hours of the night, when tears flow and burdens lift, when instructions are released and direction is given, she treasures those moments. She knows that some revelations are like seeds. If you expose them too early, they lose their potency. She prays deeply, she worships sincerely, but she does not make her spirituality a spectacle. Her power is not in how loud she speaks about God, but in how consistently she walks with Him. You can tell she has been with God not by her announcements, but by her fruits. Her peace, her discernment, her humility, and her wisdom reveal a private altar that few people ever see. A blessed woman also keeps her struggles private. This does not mean she never seeks counsel or help, but she is selective. She does not broadcast her pain to people who cannot carry it. She understands that not everyone who listens cares, and not everyone who cares is assigned to help. There are battles she takes straight to God. There are tears she sheds in secret. There are moments when her heart feels heavy, yet she chooses silence over unnecessary explanation. This is not weakness, it is wisdom. She knows that exposing her wounds to the wrong audience can deepen the injury. She refuses to allow her pain to become gossip material. Instead of announcing her storm, she trusts God to calm them. When people see her later standing strong, they may never know how many nights she cried, how many prayers she whispered, or how many times she had to encourage herself just to keep moving forward. Another thing a blessed woman keeps private is the details of her relationships. Whether it is her marriage, her courtship, or her close personal connections, she does not make them public property. She understands that love grows best in protected spaces. She does not seek validation for her relationship from outsiders, nor does she invite opinions into matters that require wisdom and discretion. When there is joy, she enjoys it quietly. When there is conflict, she handles it maturely. She does not run to people to expose her partner's flaws or weaknesses because she knows words have power, and once spoken, they cannot be retrieved. A blessed woman values honor. She understands that constant exposure invites unnecessary interference. She protects what she loves by keeping it sacred. And because of this, her relationships have room to heal, grow, and mature without the pressure of public scrutiny. A blessed woman also keeps her future plans private. Not every vision God gives you needs to be announced. She understands that destiny unfolds in stages and timing matters. She may have dreams burning in her heart, ideas forming in her spirit, and plans developing quietly, but she allows God to bring them to manifestation before speaking too much about them. She has learned that premature celebration can attract premature opposition. Some people do not attack what already exists, they attack what is coming. So she moves with wisdom. She works silently. She prepares diligently. She allows her results to speak louder than her intentions. When people finally see what God has done, they are surprised, not because she was hiding, but because she was building without noise. Another sacred thing a blessed woman keeps private is the extent of her generosity and sacrifices. She gives, but she does not announce it. She helps, but she does not seek applause. She understands that true giving is not about recognition. It is about obedience and love. When she sows seeds of kindness, support, or resources, she does so with a pure heart. She does not measure her worth by how much praise she receives. Her reward is knowing that God sees her. There are prayers she answers for others that no one ever traces back to her. There are burdens she lifts quietly. There are sacrifices she makes that only heaven records. And because she gives in secret, she is replenished openly by God in ways that cannot be explained. A blessed woman also guards her emotions. She does not react to everything. She does not explain herself to everyone. She has learned emotional discipline. She knows when to speak and when silence is the loudest response. She understands that not every opinion deserves an answer and not every misunderstanding needs correction. Her calmness confuses those who expect drama. Her restraint unsettles those who thrive on reaction. She has learned that peace is too expensive to be exchanged for temporary satisfaction. When she feels anger, disappointment, or frustration, she processes it wisely. She takes it to God, reflects before responding, and chooses growth over impulse. This emotional maturity is one of the strongest indicators of her blessing. A blessed woman keeps her confidence rooted in God, not in public affirmation. She does not depend on applause to feel valuable. She does not need constant validation to know who she is. Her identity is settled. She knows she is loved, chosen, and purposeful even when no one is clapping. Because of this, she is not threatened by other women's success. She celebrates without comparison. She supports without competition. She understands that God's blessings are not limited, and someone else's elevation does not diminish her own. This quiet confidence allows her to move gracefully, securely, and joyfully through life. She also keeps her process private. People often see the outcome, but never the journey. They admire the strength without knowing the breaking. They applaud the wisdom without understanding the lessons learned through pain. A blessed woman does not explain every season of pruning, waiting, or refining. She trusts that God is at work, even when nothing seems to be happening. She remains faithful in obscurity. She remains consistent in silence. And when the season changes, she emerges with grace, not bitterness. Her testimony becomes powerful because it is lived, not advertised. Privacy does not mean isolation, and it does not mean secrecy born out of fear. It means discernment. It means understanding that your life is sacred, your calling is precious, and your journey is unique. A blessed woman knows that access is earned, not automatic. She does not give everyone a front row seat to her heart. She understands that wisdom is knowing what to reveal, when to reveal it, and to whom. Because of this, she is not easily drained, easily distracted, or easily discouraged. In a world where oversharing is normalized and exposure is mistaken for authenticity, a blessed woman stands apart. She is not hiding, she is preserving. She is not silent because she is weak. She is silent because she is strong. She understands that some things grow best in the dark, just like seeds planted beneath the soil. When the time is right, they break through the surface, and everyone sees the evidence of what was happening all along. And so, if you desire to walk in blessing, learn the power of sacred silence. Learn the wisdom of discretion. Learn that not everyone needs to know everything. Let God be your confidence, your counselor, and your covering. When your life is anchored in Him, you will not need to announce your blessing. It will speak for itself. She understands that there is a difference between being open and being exposed. Openness is healthy when guided by wisdom, but exposure without discernment can drain virtue and invite unnecessary battles. A blessed woman learns early that her life is not a public diary. She does not feel pressure to explain every decision she makes or every direction God leads her in. When she chooses a path others do not understand, she walks it confidently, knowing that obedience does not require explanation. She is comfortable being misunderstood for a season because she trusts that clarity will come with time. Her peace is rooted in purpose, not in people's approval. There is also the matter of her victories. A blessed woman does not rush to announce every breakthrough the moment it happens. She understands that some testimonies need time to settle. She allows gratitude to mature before celebration. She thanks God deeply, often privately, before she ever shares with others. This is because she knows that some victories are still fragile in their early stages. Just as a newborn needs care and covering, so do fresh blessings. She guards them with prayer and wisdom until they are strong enough to stand on their own. When she finally speaks, it is not with pride but with humility, pointing attention back to God rather than herself. She also keeps her disappointments and unmet expectations under spiritual discipline. Not every delay becomes a complaint, and not every closed door becomes a public lament. She has learned that disappointment can either shape you or shame you, depending on how you handle it. Instead of magnifying what did not work, she seeks understanding. She asks God for perspective rather than sympathy. She allows herself to feel, but she does not allow her emotions to lead her. In doing this, she protects her faith from erosion. Her hope remains alive because she does not give her disappointments too much air. A blessed woman keeps her discernment private as well. When she perceives things others do not see, she does not always speak immediately. She watches, she prays, she waits. She understands that discernment is not given to embarrass people or to prove spiritual depth. It is given for guidance and protection. Sometimes the wisest thing she can do is to remain quiet and allow God to reveal truth in His own time. She resists the temptation to expose what she knows prematurely. This restraint preserves relationships, protects her heart, and allows God to work without interference. She also keeps her growth private. People often assume she has always been this strong, this calm, this grounded, but they do not know the process that shaped her. They do not see the nights she had to unlearn unhealthy patterns, the moments she chose healing over bitterness, or the time she had to confront herself honestly before God. She does not remind people of who she used to be, nor does she rehearse her past mistakes. She allows her transformation to be evident through her character, not through repeated storytelling. Her maturity speaks louder than her history. A blessed woman understands the power of restraint in speech. She does not speak simply because she has the right to. She speaks because it is necessary, timely, and constructive. She knows that words can either preserve life or poison atmospheres. Because of this, she measures her words carefully. She avoids unnecessary arguments. She does not engage in conversations that pull her spirit down. She does not defend herself aggressively because she trusts God to be her vindicator. This quiet confidence is not passive. It is deeply rooted faith in divine justice. She keeps her boundaries firm but discreet. She does not announce every limit she sets. She simply lives by them. When she says no, it is not accompanied by guilt or lengthy explanations. She understands that boundaries are not walls to shut people out. They are gates that protect what matters. By honoring her boundaries, she preserves her energy, her time, and her emotional health. People may not always understand her choices, but they cannot deny the peace that surrounds her life. A blessed woman also keeps her waiting seasons private. When she is in a season of patience, she does not complain loudly or compare herself endlessly to others. She understands that waiting is not punishment, it is preparation. She uses those seasons to deepen her faith, sharpen her character, and align her heart with God's timing. She does not allow impatience to make her careless. She trusts that what is delayed is not denied when God is involved. This quiet endurance strengthens her inner life and prepares her for what is ahead. She keeps her fears private as well. Not because she does not experience fear, but because she refuses to let fear define her. When fear rises, she confronts it in prayer. She replaces it with truth. She does not let fear become a public confession that shapes her reality. Instead, she chooses faith-filled words, even when her heart is still learning courage. This discipline allows her to move forward despite uncertainty. Her bravery is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to be ruled by it. A blessed woman understands that her life is a stewardship. What she reveals with intention. What she withholds with wisdom. She does not live suspiciously, but she lives selectively. She understands that trust is built, not assumed. Because of this, her inner circle is small, but it is safe. Her conversations are meaningful, not noisy. Her life is full, but not chaotic. She walks with grace In a generation that often mistakes loudness for strength, her silence is not empty. It is full of prayer, reflection, and understanding. She knows that God often works most powerfully in quiet places. And while others rush to be seen, she is content to be formed. While others chase attention, she pursues alignment. And in this sacred privacy, her blessing continues to grow, deepen, and mature, unfolding layer by layer according to divine timing. She also understands the sacredness of timing, and because of this, she does not rush conversations that require maturity. There are truths she knows that she does not immediately voice, not because she is dishonest, but because wisdom has taught her that some people need time to grow into the capacity to hear certain things. She resists the urge to correct everyone or to prove that she is right. She allows life, experience, and God's own dealings to teach lessons that words alone cannot accomplish. This patience protects her from unnecessary conflicts and preserves her emotional and spiritual energy. A blessed woman keeps her sense of worth anchored internally. She does not measure herself by trends, social approval, or external validation. Because of this, she does not feel compelled to showcase her life for admiration. She enjoys her blessings quietly. She laughs freely in private moments. She celebrates milestones with gratitude rather than with comparison. Her happiness is not performative, it is authentic. Even when others do not notice her progress, she remains content because she knows that growth seen by God is never wasted. She also keeps her discernment about people private. When she realizes someone's intentions are not pure, she does not expose them publicly or retaliate emotionally. She adjusts her access. She creates healthy distance without drama. She understands that not every revelation requires confrontation. Sometimes wisdom simply calls for repositioning. This ability to move quietly away from harm is a sign of maturity. She does not announce her exits. She does not burn bridges unnecessarily. She simply chooses peace over noise and protection over explanation. A blessed woman also keeps her healing journey sacred. When she is in the process of recovery, whether from heartbreak, disappointment, loss, or betrayal, she does not rush to narrate every step. She allows herself to heal fully before she speaks. She understands that healing is not linear, and exposing it too early can reopen wounds. So she retreats when necessary. She allows God to restore her gently. And when she finally shares her story, it is from a place of wholeness, not bleeding. Her testimony becomes a source of strength because it comes from victory, not from an open wound. She keeps her obedience private as well. When God instructs her to do something that seems small or unseen, she does it faithfully without announcing it. She understands that obedience does not need an audience. Whether it is forgiving quietly, giving sacrificially, or letting go of something precious, she obeys because she trusts God's wisdom. She knows that unseen obedience often produces visible reward. This quiet submission positions her for favor that cannot be manufactured or manipulated. A blessed woman understands the power of stillness. In moments when others panic, she pauses. In moments when others react, she reflects. This stillness is not passivity, it is confidence in God's sovereignty. She believes that not every problem requires her voice, and not every challenge requires her defense. Some battles are won simply by standing firm and letting God work. Her calm presence often speaks louder than arguments ever could. She keeps her spiritual warfare private too. When she is contending for her family, her future, or her purpose, she does not announce the battle. She prays, she fasts, she declares truth quietly. She understands that warfare is not a spectacle, it is a discipline. By keeping her battles before God rather than before people, she avoids discouragement and confusion. Her victories are rooted in the secret place, long before they manifest in the open. A blessed woman also guards her joy. She does not allow unnecessary conversations, negative environments, or toxic relationships to drain it. She is intentional about what she listens to and what she engages with. She understands that joy is a spiritual strength that must be protected. When her joy is threatened, she withdraws, not in bitterness, but in wisdom. She knows when to rest, when to reflect, and when to realign her heart with God's promises. She keeps her expectations of people realistic and her expectations of God high. Because of this balance, she is not easily disappointed. She understands human limitations, but she also trusts divine faithfulness. When people fail her, she processes it privately with God, rather than publicly with bitterness. She refuses to let disappointment turn into resentment. This inner discipline keeps her heart soft, even in a hard world. A blessed woman lives with an awareness that her life is unfolding under divine supervision. She does not rush outcomes or force connections. She allows God to order her steps. She understands that some doors close quietly so better ones can open without resistance. She trusts the process, even when she does not fully understand it. This trust allows her to remain steady in uncertain seasons. She does not confuse privacy with pride. She is approachable, kind, and compassionate. She listens well. She loves deeply. But she also knows where to draw the line. She understands that being accessible to everyone can lead to being accountable to no one. By choosing discretion, she honors her calling and preserves her strength. And so, day by day, her life continues to be shaped in quiet ways. Her roots grow deeper than her branches are visible. Her faith matures beyond what words can capture. Her blessing expands not through noise, but through alignment. And even as seasons change and new chapters unfold, she remains anchored, discerning, and preserved, walking forward with a grace that needs no announcement and a strength that continues to speak, without ever needing a conclusion. In the end, the mark of a truly blessed woman is not how much she reveals, but how well she discerns. Her life teaches us that privacy is not secrecy born out of fear, but wisdom rooted in understanding. She knows that what God entrusts to her is sacred, and sacred things are handled with care. She has learned that silence can be an act of faith, that restraint can be a form of strength, and that not every chapter of her journey needs an audience. By guarding her spirit, her relationships, her prayers, her struggles, and her dreams, she allows God to work deeply and thoroughly within her. Her life becomes a testimony without constant explanation. Her peace speaks, her stability preaches, her consistency ministers. People may not always know what she has been through, what she is believing for, or what she is quietly overcoming, but they can see the evidence of grace upon her life. She stands as a reminder that blessing is not always loud, that power is not always visible, and that God often does his finest work in hidden places. So let this be the invitation and the charge. Learn the strength of sacred privacy. Protect what God is growing in you. Value the secret place. Trust divine timing. When you walk with this wisdom, you will find that your life does not need constant explanation or defense. God himself will become your covering, your validator, and your reward. And in his time, what was nurtured in silence will speak boldly, clear, undeniable, and filled with glory.